Jean Cocteau, a pioneer of modern art movements, believed that every artist reveals aspects of themselves in their work. In his view, every piece of art is a form of self-portrait or self-revelation, and an artist's creations are a reflection of their inner thoughts, emotions, and experiences. This perspective aligns with the notion that artists, knowingly or unknowingly, embed personal elements into their works, transforming them into reflections of their own identity.
Ne vous obstinez pas. Un peintre fait toujours son propre portrait. Cette fleur, vous n'arriverez jamais à la peindre.
Merde. Merde, merde, merde.
Robert Bresson believed that each artist essentially creates one film, and all their subsequent works are continuations and extractions from that initial work. This viewpoint is entirely applicable to Andrei Tarkovsky. Tarkovsky also believed that the style of each author is a manifestation of their unique personality. Film authors possess distinctive styles, rhythms, and languages. For instance, no two takes of the works of Béla Tarr and David Cronenberg are identical.
In fact,
The cinematic style and language of each director are influenced by a combination of personal artistic sensibilities, cultural background, technical skills, and prevailing film trends of their time.
hey, where you going? Don't do it, there'll be hell to pay.
Andrei Tarkovsky's cinematic language is uniquely his own. His filmmaking style is defined by poetic and philosophical storytelling, long takes, slow pacing, and a profound exploration of existential themes. Time is a central factor and the common thread that runs through all of his works. He believed that a filmmaker's character is defined through their perception of time. In his view, the most significant difference between cinema and other arts lies in playing with time, capturing time, freezing time, and in general, manipulating time.
Драматургией. Специфика кинематографа заключается в том, что кино призвано зафиксировать и выразить время. Время в таком философском, в поэтическом и буквальном смысле. Кино — единственное искусство, которое буквально фиксирует время. То есть его теоретически можно просматривать ленту бесконечно, одну и ту же. Это как матрица времени. И в этом смысле проблема ритма, проблема длины, темпа имеет в кино какое-то свое особое значение. В том смысле, что время выражает самое себя.
He often disrupts the conventional chronological timeline in his films, presenting events in a non-linear fashion instead of strictly adhering to linear narratives. This creates a sense of time that is fluid and malleable. Contrary to the conventional definition that regards time as a linear and irreversible flow, separating the past and present as distinct stages, Tarkovsky believes that the past plays a much more stable and determining role in shaping the present for individuals. In his book, Sculpting in Time, he states, "Time is said to be irreversible, and this is true enough in the sense that you can't bring back the past. But what exactly is this past? Is it what is past? And what does past mean for a person when, for each of us, the past is the bearer of all that is constant in the reality of the present, of each current moment? In a certain sense, the past is far more real, or at any rate more stable, more resilient than the present. The present slips and vanishes like sand between the fingers, acquiring material weight only in its recollection. By contrast, I want to draw attention to how time in its moral implication is, in fact, turned back. Time can vanish without trace in our material world, for it is a subjective, spiritual category. The time we have lived settles in our soul as an experience placed within time. Tarkovsky often contrasts the concept of cinematic time with historical time. While the camera captures a specific duration, the narrative may span different historical periods. This interplay highlights the subjective nature of time and emphasizes the timelessness of certain themes and emotions. This technique allows him to explore the coexistence of past, present, and future in a visually striking manner. Viewers witness the convergence of various temporal dimensions, enhancing the complexity of the narrative. The final scene of Mirror is remarkable in this regard. In this sequence, multiple different temporal phases are progressing simultaneously. Alexei, the film's protagonist, is on his deathbed and sees a dream that is interwoven with his memories. He imagines his parents. His father asks his mother, "Would you rather have a boy or a girl?" Young Maria does not give a clear answer and begins to cry. Subsequently, he imagines his mother in her old age, holding his sister's hand and walking through the fields with him. While in the background, young Maria stares at her older self and awaits the birth of her child. Memory and dream merge. Alexei imagines himself as a child again, next to his mother. He is on his deathbed, and this is probably his last wish, joining his mother as her young child forever.
Can I kiss you?
In cinema, memories serve various functions, contributing to the richness and complexity of storytelling. Filmmakers use memories as a narrative device to convey emotions, provide context, and deepen character development. Furthermore, memories enable filmmakers to manipulate the perception of time within a film. Flashbacks and memories can compress or expand time, creating a non-linear narrative structure that adds texture to the storytelling, a realm in which Tarkovsky excelled. Tarkovsky often disrupts the chronological flow of the story in his films with a non-linear narrative structure, including flashbacks, dreams, and memories. This blurs the boundaries between past and present, and reality and dream, emphasizing the elusive and subjective nature of memory. By employing these techniques, he shows how memories appear in the human mind, often triggered by emotions or specific events. In his films, characters grapple with fragmented memories, and the distinction between personal and collective memory is often ambiguous. The dream sequence in Mirror is one of the finest examples of exploring memories in cinema. Alexei imagines his mother washing her hair. Moments later, we witness young Maria gazing at her reflection in the mirror, but with a cinematic cut. Maria's elderly face is revealed, still staring at herself in the mirror. Through a cinematic interplay, we witness the juxtaposition of the past and the present in the highest quality. Childhood holds a special place in Tarkovsky's exploration of memory. He often portrays childhood as a realm of innocence and wonder, contrasting it with the complexities of adulthood. In Tarkovsky's films, we see that childhood memories play a significant role in shaping people's identities. Mirrors, elements such as water and fire, the presence of animals, landscapes, and locations, are just a few of the recurring symbols and motifs in Tarkovsky's works to convey the emotional weight of memories. The house and all its interior components, such as rooms and corridors, is one of the most recurring symbols for recalling memories in Tarkovsky's works.
questo pensiero mi uccide.
This sequence from Nostalgia is one of the best examples of memory recall in film history. Andrei, the film's protagonist, has traveled to Italy to research the life of a Russian composer who was exiled to Italy in the 18th century. At one point in the film, he and his interpreter, Eugenia, get into an argument. Eugenia is upset that her relationship with Andrei is not progressing as she would like. After Eugenia prepares to leave him, Andrei lies down and begins to recall memories from the past. He imagines his wife. His wife wakes up, as if she was dreaming too. She then moves slowly and first pulls aside the curtain, a bird is seen, and then opens the door to the room. With the opening of the door, another image comes to Andrei's mind, another memory. This time, he imagines his family members. In the next image, he sees a horse and his dog, which is always by his side in all of his memories. In the next shot, he initially sees his family members in the Russian countryside, in a state of confusion and bewilderment, probably due to their lack of knowledge of Andrei's fate. In the following, during a long tracking shot, all three of the previous images, different memories, are combined, and Andrei sees his wife as well as all his family members and the horse and his dog at the same time. Behind them, a house is seen, probably Andrei's house in Russia, a symbol of homeland. The space is bathed in fog and morning dew, a distant and dusty past in the mind, which helps to convey the feeling of unreachability of home and family. Similarly, the feeling of his wife and family's lack of knowledge of him is conveyed in parallel. As we know, Tarkovsky himself was in exile at the time of the making of Nostalgia. Like his other film, Mirror, Nostalgia is almost an autobiographical piece, and throughout the film, Tarkovsky's feelings for his home and homeland are evident.
Andrei.
The term levitation finds its origins in Latin, derived from the word levitas, meaning lightness, or the quality of being light. Historically, it has been associated with the act of rising against gravity, lifting objects or oneself. Levitation holds a significant place in various cultures and religions, often linked to mystical or supernatural beliefs. Christian traditions, for example, attribute levitating abilities to certain saints and religious figures. In Eastern traditions, particularly in the context of yoga and meditation, levitation is considered a spiritual or mystical achievement. Stories of levitating monks or yogis can be found in Eastern religious texts. The theme of levitation is a recurring motif in Tarkovsky's films. Tarkovsky himself defines these moments as miracles of love. When asked about these moments in his films, he once said, "Why do I so frequently include a levitation scene, a body rising up? Simply because the scene has a great power. This way things can be created that are more cinematic, more photogenic. When I imagine a person suspended in midair, it pleases me. I find myself filled with emotion. If some fool asks me why in my last film people float up in the air, I would say, it's magic." If the same question came from someone with a more acute intelligence and poetic sensibility, I would respond that for these characters love was not the same thing as it was for the author of Betty Blue. For me, love is the supreme manifestation of mutual understanding, and this cannot be represented by the sexual act. In Solaris, Chris Kelvin, the film's protagonist, embarks on a mission to the planet Solaris. He soon realizes that the planet has the ability to recreate the astronaut's most painful memories and innermost desires. Chris, who lost his wife to suicide, soon encounters her double on Solaris, except that her double has no memory. This event triggers the revival of past memories and repressed emotions, as well as the blurring of the line between reality and the subconscious for Chris. During the levitation sequence, Chris imagines himself and his wife, Hari, back together in a setting similar to their home on Earth. The music of Bach and Bruegel's Hunters in the Snow add depth to the sequence, and we witness the couple's love for each other. Levitation occurs in a different way in The Sacrifice. After fighter jets fly over Alexander's house and a news program reports the possibility of World War III, Alexander prays to God and vows that he is willing to sacrifice everything to prevent a possible disaster. Meanwhile, his friend Otto, who finds Alexander desperate, tells him to lie with Maria, his maid, who he believes is a witch, in order for his wish to be granted. In the levitation sequence, we see Alexander begging Maria to save them.
Döda oss inte. Rädda oss, Maria.
Men varför?
Maria is shocked by Alexander's despair and gives him comfort and love. We then witness the miracle of love.
Det är ingenting att vara rädd för.
In conclusion, as Tarkovsky himself believed, levitation in his films is a metaphor for love. Love is in the highest place in Tarkovsky's view, and he prefers to show such a magnificent and pure moment metaphysically, rather than with the conventional rules that are common in cinema, such as any sexual act. It's essential to note that Tarkovsky's use of levitation is intertwined with broader themes in his works, while also greatly contributing to the creation of a dreamlike and contemplative atmosphere in his films.